Hi dear students, this is Dr. Mamta Java, your microbiology faculty. I welcome you all to episode 3 of Microshort series which I have started exclusively on my YouTube channel. So guys, in today's episode, my aim is to tell you some important facts about medically important cystodes, that is tapeworms. We can classify parasites into two broad categories, the protozoa, which are the unicellular organisms, and the helminths, which are multicellular parasites. Okay, so the medically important protozoa can be classified based on the organs of locomotion, about which I have spoken about in my previous episode of Microshorts. Okay, so helminths, which are multicellular organisms, they actually belong to animal kingdom and their adults are big enough to be seen with naked eye, but still we discuss them under microbiology because their eggs and larvae are microscopic, so we need the help or aid of a microscope to be able to diagnose helminthic infections. Okay, so helminths again can be classified into two broad categories: nemathelminths, that is nematodes or roundworms, and platyhelminths or flatworms. Now, as the name indicates, the platyhelminths are dorsoventrally flat, so obviously they don't have any body cavity, so they are evolutionarily more primitive and they don't have room or space for organ systems to be well developed. Now, roundworms, on the other hand, they are cylindrical in cross section. They have got good enough space as compared to the flatworms, obviously, and because of this presence of space, their organ systems are well developed. So they are evolutionary more advanced beings as compared to the flatworms. So as far as the platyhelminths or flatworms are concerned, they can be further categorized into cystodes, which are also known as tapeworms, and trematodes, which are known as flukes. Okay, so as far as cystodes or tapeworms are concerned, there are 5 medically important cystodes which you need to know about, and their names are as follows. Firstly, we have got Taenia saginata or beef tapeworm or unarmed tapeworm. Secondly, we have got Taenia solium or pork tapeworm or armed tapeworm. So remember the two T's, and then 3, 4 and 5 can be remembered as H, E and D. That is Hymenolepis nana or dwarf tapeworm. Then E stands for Echinococcus granulosus, that is dog tapeworm, and D stands for Diphyllobothrium latum, also known as fish tapeworm. Now I'm going to tell you some general rules about cystodes to be kept in mind. Rule number 1. All cystodes produce embryonated eggs. Rule number 2. Eggs of most cystodes have got such an embryo which has got 6 hooklets, and that is why such an embryo is known as hexacanth embryo or oncosphere. Now, the only exception to this rule number 2 is the egg of Diphyllobothrium latum. The egg of Diphyllobothrium latum has got a knob at one end and an operculum or lid at the opposite end, and it has got a ciliated larva inside. Okay, when I was a student, I used to remember this as L for latum, L for lid, and another word for or meaning of lid is operculum. Okay, so Diphyllobothrium latum's egg has got an operculum or a lid, and it has got a ciliated larva inside. Okay, so that's rule number 2. Now rule number 3 is the eggs of all the cystodes are dirty, meaning they are bile stained, except the egg of Hymenolepis nana. So nana is no nonsense cystode, meaning it is neat and clean. So the eggs of H nana are non bile stained. Rule number 4 is in every cystode we have got a definitive host and an intermediate host. The only exception to this general rule pertaining to cystodes is once again Hymenolepis nana, which is independent, meaning to say that as far as H nana is concerned, there is no concept of a separate definitive and a separate intermediate host. Man is the only intermediate host. So remember these two exceptions about Nanaji H nana. The eggs are neat and clean, crystal clear eggs, non-bile stained eggs, and man is the only host, a single host. Okay, So that's about rule number 4. Then rule number 5 is Diphyllobothrium latum, such a long name. This fellow, this specific cystode is the longest cystode. This is also known as fish tapeworm. F for fish and F for 15. So the length of Diphyllobothrium latum is approximately 15 meters and it remains coiled up in the intestine. Okay. Then rule number 6, which I want to tell you all is, remember the word lie, L-I-E, where L stands for larva, I stands for intermediate host, and E stands for egg. Okay. Now guys, regarding this sort of mnemonic lie, I already have discussed a few facts in another video of mine by the name of Case Files in Clinical Microbiology episode 4, where I have discussed in detail why Taenia solium only causes cysticercosis and not Taenia saginata, whereas both the Taenia species, Taenia saginata and Taenia solium, can cause intestinal teniasis. Okay, so remember the two T's in cystodes, Taenia solium and Taenia saginata, both can cause intestinal teniasis, but cysticercosis disease is caused only by Taenia solium. In that video also I have explained with diagrams and all, all these facts and the rule or mnemonic lie. Please check out that video, it will help you. Its link I'm gonna put up in the description below. Okay, so once again, for revision purpose, let me talk to you about lie. Now L for larva, I for intermediate host, and E for eggs. So remember, larva is present in the tissues of the intermediate host, and it is the eggs which are the infective form for the intermediate host. Alright, so I'm gonna next talk about HED, that is the last 3 cystodes. For the 2 T's, please check out the video of Case Files in Clinical Microbiology episode 4. Now H. nana, as I said before, there's no concept of a definitive and intermediate host, and remember the infective form for H. nana for us is the egg. Okay, and what is the mode of infection? Remember, when we talk about eggs and larvae, eggs are obviously going to be ingested and larvae are usually going to penetrate the skin. Okay, so when we say that infective form for H. nana is egg, the mode of infection is ingestion of the egg along with contaminated food and water. Okay, contaminated meaning the food or water which has got the egg. So that's about H. nana. So and then we have got Echinococcus granulosus, which is known as dog tapeworm. For Echinococcus granulosus, which is known as dog tapeworm, the definitive host is the dog and the intermediate host is the sheep. Then why do humans, why are we bothered about the dog tapeworm? We are bothered about it because man, that is, we can sometimes become accidental intermediate host. Now here comes to our rescue the rule or the mnemonic lie, which tells us that for intermediate host, for becoming the intermediate host, the eggs are the infective form. Alright, so the eggs are going to be ingested, only then man can become the the intermediate host in case of dog tapeworm or Echinococcus granulosus. Now here I would like to point out that whoever of us are are in love with pets like dogs, the dog lovers should keep this in mind, that if the dog is infected with this cystode, the dog, which is the definitive host, is going to pass out or excrete the eggs in the feces. Okay, and these eggs are actually the infective form for the intermediate host. The routine intermediate host, as I said, is the sheep, but humans can become accidental intermediate hosts if we are cuddling or playing with the eggs with the dog, and if the dog is infected, then we happen to harbor on our hands the eggs of this cystode, and if we don't wash our hands, then while consuming our food, we are going to consume the eggs of this cystode also, and that's how we land up becoming the intermediate hosts of this cystode. So that's very, very important. Okay, so do keep that in mind. And then lastly, we have got Diphyllobothrium latum, in which case, once again, man is the definitive host. And as far as intermediate hosts are concerned, remember there are two. Diphyllobothrium, remember di should also serve as a reminder for two. So there are two intermediate hosts for this cystode. The first intermediate host is Cyclops and the second intermediate host is fish. And man gets infected by eating the fish which is going to harbor the larva of this cystode. Okay, so guys, these are some basic rules about medically important cystodes which I want all of you to remember. All this is important not just for exams, but as medicos we should know all this. Please let me know in the comment section how are you liking this series, and please suggest topics also which you would like me to cover under this series. And the topics for this video and the previous video are the ones which you only have mentioned in the comment section, and I will try my level best to cover whatever topics you are suggesting to me in the comment section. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, seniors, juniors. Please support the channel by subscribing to it and smashing the bell icon for further notification for my future videos. And you can follow me on my Instagram page also, which is known by mj.micro. I keep posting updates, quizzes on immunology and microbiology on my Instagram handle. Okay, please check out my Facebook page also. Its name is Dr. Mamta Java, again for updates of microbiology and immunology. So I hope you like this video. Study well and God bless.